when politics and the Prime Minister's pursuit is best expressed through local affairs, and financial recovery through conferences or investment opportunities naturally shy away from geopolitics, or security, whether the president's insistence on dialogue or the army chief's reluctance to confront threatening resignation and now disinvitation from the US government, when politics, economics, and security are unable to tackle the sub-state disorder that has kept Lebanon paralyzed for over 5 decades, you're left with diplomacy, and Lebanon's sovereign voice is rarely heard. Proactive diplomacy is rarely taken. Lebanon's independence is rarely reflected on the global stage, or for that matter, within the country, on the eve of our independence anniversary. Rare occasions allow for Lebanon's position to breathe, and it happened 2 decades ago, after the Syrians left. In the middle of the July War, Lebanon's voice was heard. Without that voice, 1701 would have not been crafted on Lebanon's terms. Not Israel's, not Syria's, not Iran's, but Lebanon's. And the tools offered for the Lebanese government that were not taken, including the UN's assistance in monitoring the Lebanese-Syrian border, were not taken because we lost that opportunity, not by choice, but by force. Hezbollah inherited what Syria left behind in foreign policy and security. It also perverted our politics and economics and led to state collapse. Syria's era ended in 2005. Iran's has heavily faded in 2025. We need it to end, and for it to end on our terms, our voice needs to be heard in every platform, every institution that can apply pressure on Iran. But that's not enough. We need proactive diplomacy. And last night, our foreign minister said that up front. His insistence on meeting the Iranian foreign minister in a neutral country like Switzerland, and the track 2 type of diplomacy that would be needed to officiate that type of summit, effectively picking up where another Lebanese diplomat left off in late 2013 in Switzerland. As the Americans and Iranians were negotiating nuclear technology, a Lebanese voice was in the way, doing everything he could to push the Iranian regime to reconsider its role in Lebanon. All of that belongs to the foreign ministry. Yes, he needs the political cover necessary, and yes, he needs the government's endorsement. But he has taken a step forward that Lebanon entirely avoided under Hezbollah's weight. With that weight lifted, not by us, but through war. And a war Hezbollah chose on its terms, and a war Lebanon paid a price for. It takes leadership like his and the curiosity for solutions to ensure that Lebanon does not fall by the wayside or return to what it was in the late 1980s. A no-go destination for most players, except for the Iranians, Syrians, and Israelis. And our foreign minister is a unique character in Lebanese history because he is representing the Lebanese state and respecting its institutions the way it was designed. And he is a former militia fighter for the Lebanese forces stationed at Sodeko and someone who resorted to arms, not ashamed for what he considered to be self-defense in the worst years of Lebanese history, and at the same time someone who has eloquently expressed no desire to return to those conditions, avoiding the breakdown of what would take a teenager like him to arms in the streets of Beirut, and the same type of person who would later turn into a gifted diplomat, and probably the best choice in Lebanon's current cabinet. Credit to the Lebanese forces for choosing gifted ministers, and credit to Hezbollah for choosing ministers that want to work, and ministers that are not corrupt, and ministers that know how to manage ministries. The Lebanese forces are not unique. They've evolved from a militia to a political party that defends Lebanon's interests and defends so eloquently. Hezbollah can follow the exact same path, and hopefully, a generation from today, a former Hezbollah militiaman will be our foreign minister, speaking the same language, one of never repeating the mistakes of what militia did to Lebanon, and one that defends Lebanon's interests that includes all of us, not one geography and not one religion.